Guess what? The Batman 2 movie with Robert Pattinson is getting some exciting updates. First off, it's connecting to the DC universe, but not in the way you might expect. Robert Pattinson's Batman won't be part of James Gunn's Batman, but he doesn't want his character to be totally separate from other DC films. So, James Gunn is starting something called the Elseworlds slate. It lets different filmmakers make their own versions of DC superheroes without messing up the main DC Universe stories. But that's not all. Batman 2, directed by Matt Reeves, is picking up speed. They've chosen Greg Fraser, the director of photography. He's worked on Dune, The Mandalorian, and Rogue One, a Star Wars story, so it looks like Batman's sequel is in good hands. Now, what's this Elseworlds thing? For those who aren't into DC Comics, it's like a special line of comics where creators can explore different versions of superheroes without changing their main stories. Like in one comic, called Kingdom Come, Superman and the original Justice League are older and ready to pass on their superhero legacy. Another one is Gotham by Gaslight, where Batman is in Victorian times hunting down Jack the Ripper. There's also Superman Speeding Bullets, where Superman's rocket lands near Gotham and he becomes Batman instead of Bruce Wayne. It's like a cool way for creators to play with different ideas. Speaking of different versions in the DC universe, there's a trilogy of comics called Red Rain, where Batman becomes a vampire to stop Count Dracula from endangering Gotham. While it makes sense for Batman to be a vampire in certain storylines, it wouldn't fit into the main DC stories. This is where Elseworlds comes in, allowing unique stories without messing up the character's main arc. James Gunn is bringing a similar idea to the DCU's future. Despite wiping out many existing projects, he understands that films like The Batman and Joker have kept fans engaged. So, he's introducing the Elseworlds slate, letting independent projects continue while being part of the DCU, but having their own separate universes. This means we might see 2 live-action Batmans with different stories. Now, shifting back to The Batman Part 2, we already know that Andy Serkis is returning as Alfred Pennyworth and Jeffrey Wright as James Gordon. Whether Zoë Kravitz will appear as Catwoman or Colin Farrell as the Penguin remains uncertain. Fans speculate about the villain, considering Matt Reeves' clever use of the Riddler in the first movie, breaking away from the traditional focus on the Joker as Batman's primary live-action enemy. While many praised Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger for their outstanding portrayals of the Joker, fans collectively felt disappointed with Jared Leto's performance. Now, there's a widespread agreement that Joaquin Phoenix should be the one to redeem the Joker's reputation. Fans are eager to see Batman face a new villain in the next movie. One popular choice among fans is Mr. Freeze, an iconic comic book villain who hasn't had much exposure in live action. Another contender is the Mad Hatter, capable of sending Batman into a psychological whirlwind similar to Scarecrow in Nolan's Batman Begins. Despite these theories, there are rumors about Clayface being the new villain in The Batman Part 2. While not confirmed, speculation about Clayface gained traction when Mike Flanagan pitched a Clayface movie to DC. This could be either an independent film, part of James Gunn's DCU, or part of the Elseworlds slate. Subsequent reports suggested that Clayface is already a significant part of Matt Reeves' new movie. This sparked debates among fans about whether Matt would choose the Mud Monster version or the Golden Age version. The 2 versions of Clayface are distinct. The first, Matthew Hagen, transforms into a clay monster after exposure to a radioactive pool. The second, Basil Carlo, is a former actor who goes mad and embarks on a killing spree after learning his film role is being remade with a different actor. Considering Matt Reeves' realistic storytelling style, fans speculate he might lean toward Basil's version but incorporate elements of both, such as the use of clay as makeup to turn into a villain gone mad. While Clayface might not have been the initial choice for a villain, his inclusion ties into the main theme of The Batman Part 2. In The Batman Part 2, director Matt Reeves plans to delve into Bruce Wayne's internal conflict and exploration of his identity as Batman. After the events of the first film, Bruce has abandoned the idea of vengeance and taken on a more hopeful role in Gotham's restructuring. However, he still grapples with his true identity, and the inclusion of Clayface as a villain will add to his challenges. The movie may draw inspiration from Scott Snyder's New 52 stories, particularly a two-part feature about Clayface called Nowhere Man. In this story, Clayface steals Bruce's identity, targeting people close to the Wayne family. Bruce must confront his traumas and fears while battling his own demons to defeat Clayface. There's a possibility that Basil Karlo, the character associated with Clayface, may have a connection to Bruce's parents' legacy, seeking revenge for promises unfulfilled by Thomas Wayne. The potential inclusion of Hush as the villain in The Batman Part 2 could shift the focus from Batman's superhero persona to the more human aspect of Bruce Wayne. In the comics, Hush, also known as Thomas Elliot, was Bruce Wayne's childhood friend who became obsessed with him and turned to villainy, ultimately undergoing plastic surgery to resemble Bruce. If the movie adapts this storyline, it could elevate Bruce Wayne's non-superhero identity, delving into his family history and vulnerabilities. Hush's intimate knowledge of the Wayne family could pose a unique threat, attacking Batman through his civilian alter ego rather than his hero persona. This narrative choice would spotlight Bruce Wayne as he tries to prove his innocence, emphasizing his crucial role in maintaining justice in Gotham. The theory suggests that Hush could add depth to Bruce Wayne's character, highlighting that the man behind the mask is just as essential as the symbol he embodies. The choice of Hush as the antagonist for The Batman Part 2 is seen as ideal, offering a nuanced and grounded threat in line with the realistic tone of the first movie. Despite some changes to Hush's origin in The Batman, the character's introduction in the Gotham TV series and appearances in the Batman Arkham video game franchise have familiarized audiences with him. This sets the stage for a compelling big-screen debut, allowing the creative team to tailor a unique interpretation that fits Robert Pattinson's portrayal of Batman. By pitting Batman against a foe with a personal connection, The Batman Part 2 could explore character-driven storytelling, adding emotional depth to the narrative. Hush's presence would not only enhance the emotional resonance of the story, but also showcase the human side of Batman, providing a contrast to the more fantastical threats often faced by superheroes in other movies. With Bruce Wayne's history and personal struggles just beginning to unfold in the first installment, Hush could be the perfect villain to continue the story in The Batman Part 2. Superman Legacy hits theaters on July 11, 2025, while the release date for Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is yet to be announced. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments below.